So you're planning a trip to Disneyland Paris and you think, that'll be magical enough. Well, you're right, it will be. It's going to be absolutely magical. But I've got a few tips that can just sprinkle a little bit more pixie dust on your trip and make things as memorable as possible. Stay tuned. Right, let's just get straight on in there with tip number 1. Do a reveal. Now, I suppose this is mainly for people with kids, but I mean, you can do a reveal for your friends or for your spouse or whoever you're going with, you know, like, surprise, I've spent $2,000 on a trip that you didn't know about, whatever works for you. But I am going to temper this with a little bit of reservation in that I know both personally and anecdotally that reveals on the morning that you plan to set off can go a little bit wrong. I know we all have this vision of them like clutching the face and going, oh, we're going to Disneyland Paris. But sometimes it can be a bit confusing or overwhelming, or they just don't understand it. Personally, what I think is a better idea is to do it 2 weeks before, 3 weeks before, a few months before. Do a little box with a few bits and pieces in it, activity books, tickets, pictures, whatever you want to put in there, and do the reveal then so that you can slip nicely onto tip number 2, which is get hyped and get everybody involved in the planning. This does make it more magical. Now, if you're watching YouTube videos on tips for Disneyland Paris, I guess I'm preaching to the choir here. You know that you want to kind of get excited about the trip before you go by watching and viewing, looking at things on Pinterest and planning outfits and all that kind of thing. But don't forget, if you are a planner, and I know you probably are, to get other people involved in it as well, because they're part of the holiday too. So me and my husband, we like to share videos. I'll send him a link to a WhatsApp YouTube video going, oh, this one's good, watch this, and pictures. If you've got young children, it's nice to kind of point to the castle at the beginning of watching Encanto for the 1200th time and go, look, we're going there, and all those kind of things. Just make sure everybody's involved in the hype and people get involved in the planning. Involving them in the planning, if you are a hands on the wheel kind of planner that I do, you kind of don't want them too involved in the planning. But it's nice to say, right, have you got any things on your bucket list? Have you got any snacks you want to try, restaurants you want to go to? And then you can incorporate it into the smooth running machine that you are creating in your holiday mind. And number 3, part of the planning, I suppose, dress up and Disney bound. Now, if you've been following my channel at all, you know that I absolutely love to Disney bound. Disney bounding is where you take the colour scheme or the vague idea of a Disney character and then put together an outfit inspired by that character. So it's not cosplay, but it is kind of dressing up as a Disney character, I suppose. The children, they're allowed to dress up, so they can all get involved in the party as well. And if that's not your thing, matching t-shirts might be your thing. If you are very subtle indeed, you might just want to go and find a blouse with a little subtle, try saying little and subtle in the same sentence, a little subtle Mickey somewhere on it, but kind of planning those outfits and feeling engaged in what's around you and part of it is part of the fun, I think. Take a look at the information we've got on Disney Bounding, it's the best. Tip number 4, speak French. This was actually a question put on the bottom of another video I've done by a viewer, and I thought, oh, that is a way of making it magical. She said, what kind of words and phrases do you recommend we learn to go to Disneyland Paris? The truth is, you don't need to learn French. You can make yourself understood resort-wide by speaking English, but I just think it's good manners, knowing that you are in a foreign country and knowing that that is the home language of the people that you're speaking to. It is really good manners just to learn a few words and phrases. And in answer to the question, what should you learn? Well, you're going to get to the front of the queue and they'll ask how many people in your group, c'est combien? And you just say, toi, s'il vous plaît. So get your pleases, your thank yous. It's nice if you can learn to order a burger and chips or learn to order a waffle or a croissant or whatever you want. Just enough to just show that you're trying. But I think it's part of the magic and feeling like you're on a proper holiday if you can try and speak the language while you're there. Tip number 5, do a scrapbook or an autograph book. Now, an autograph book is the obvious one for when you meet characters. You can get their signature in, and we've done that before, but then you come back and it's a book that you bought that looks shop bought, and it's got some names written in it and it doesn't have memories with it. So what I prefer to do is get a notebook together before we go, or even kind of make a little something ourselves, decorate it, and then get the signatures in there, but also put some stickers in, stick a menu or something in. You can stick your train tickets in, you can annotate, you can write next to it. I think this is good for older kids maybe to do in queues, is to keep a bit of a Disney diary and keep everything up to date. And it's nice to look back at later, but it's also nice as an adult to do that. Maybe you prefer to do this digitally. Maybe you're big on your Instagram or your Twitter and you like to take the photographs and do that. It's still scrapbooking if you think about it. Keep the memories. Tip number 6, do some kind of scavenger hunt. Unlike in the American parks where they've got a few like Wilderness Explorer scavenger hunts and things like that already set up for you to do officially from Disney, Disneyland Paris doesn't really have those, but you can make up your own. Searching for hidden Mickeys, that's getting the 3 balls in a certain connotation. They're all over the park. That's a good one. You can also make ones up yourself, like looking for cast members with the same name as you, or trying to find as many different things as you can with the same letter as your name. Maybe this is just a me and my daughter thing, but she loves doing stuff like this, and we kind of decide in the morning what it is. But the reason I really like this is it makes you use your eyes to look around the park, and that's where the magic is. And it also keeps a thread running through the day. If you've watched my 40th birthday vlog, I say watched, it's not up yet, it'll go up this week. If you plan on watching my 40th birthday vlog, I decided to try and get 40 selfies with 40 cast members. It was a brilliant day. I won't go back into it, I've talked about it a lot, but anything like that is fun. We're actually thinking of putting together a few little scavenger hunts, Hugh and Chris and I, who run the podcast, just to share with people, so for them to do on their trips, because I just think it adds a little something. Number 7, get a celebration badge. This is literally just a badge that says it's my birthday, or it's my wedding anniversary, or I'm celebrating. I've seen people with finishing chemo on there, or I'm celebrating getting my master's degree, or whatever you're celebrating. If you're there for a reason, even if it's just because it's your first Disney trip ever, go and get a badge from City Hall and wear it, and cast members, they acknowledge it and they say happy birthday to you, and it starts conversations, and it just adds the day a bit. Now, word of warning, in Disney World and Disneyland California, these are in abundance everywhere. They're slightly harder to come across at Disneyland Paris, and I've heard tell of them running out midday. So go first thing in the morning to City Hall or to the concierge desk at your hotel. See if you can get a badge. If not, take a giant birthday badge of your own. It'll still add to the enjoyment. Number 8, interact with the parades. I don't know why more people don't do this. So many people will stand and watch a parade and go, it's nice. Oh, look at that. Which is fine, they're enjoying it. But what we like to do is we wave and we shout at characters and we go, Mickey, Minnie, look at us, looking good, Flynn, thing. And the performers on the parade, they will gesture back to you. We had Flynn do this, like that to us, get blown a kiss, get waved. When my daughter has been in her Anna dress, both Anna and Elsa came to our side of the float and were like, oh, look, and then they were waving. He's so lovely, and you just get so much more out of it if you interact with the performers as you go. So get ready to shout, scream and jump up and down, and who cares if the people next to you are giving you a look. You need to spread some Disney to them. Tip number 9, share the pixie dust. You're not the only person in the park, and you're not the only person who has planned this for months and has spent thousands of pounds or euros or dollars or yen on going to Disneyland Paris. So it's really nice if you can help make their trip more magical. Now, this can be as simple as scooching over on a blanket when you're waiting for the parade to let a child share your blanket so they can see. It can be you're on your way home and you've got a balloon that's running out of gas and you give a balloon to another family so they don't have to buy one. Just anything you can do to help make other people's trips magical. I truly believe that you get what you give, and I think you will get such a nice feeling out of knowing you've made someone else's trip that will enhance your own. Don't just look out for number 1. Naughty. Tip number 10, book a character meal. I've tried to make everything on this list things that you can do without spending any more money than you've already spent. Otherwise, I'd be telling you to go up in the hot air balloon and stay at club level and do all these extras. But booking a character meal is just a really good way of meeting several characters all at once and getting good interaction and food at the same time. We all have to eat. If you're really dead set on princesses, you can go to the Cinderella's table, Auberge de Cendrillon. I never say that right, so please don't put it in the comments. You can meet 3 or 4 princesses plus Susie and Perla, Cinderella's mice, at this meal. You can have really long interactions and chats with them at your own pace. Whereas if you queue up at the Princess Pavilion, it can be a 75-minute wait. You end up with one of the princesses that you might not be that bothered about. If you're a Cinderella fan, you might end up with Aurora. If you're an Aurora fan, you're bound to end up with Jasmine. So doing the meal in that sense, whilst expensive, it does make sense. And I'm a big believer in meeting characters is magical in itself. Now, I'm not saying you have to do that to have a good trip. You don't. You do the queues, get the photographs, get the autographs. From just meeting them around the park, you will be able to do that. But it's just a good use of time to do a character meal instead. Now, I'm going to put a little sort of extra tip between tips here, because the other thing that you have is Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. It's not yet reopened in Disneyland Paris following the COVID closures. This is a salon for children who can go in and get sit in a chair and have their hair done and their makeup done like princes and princesses. I believe that they do pirates and things if you're more into that, and you can buy very expensive dresses there, or you can take your own dress and then have a little photo shoot at the end. It's really lovely for those who do it. I'm putting it in between tips because it is expensive. It's magical, but it's expensive and it's not reopened yet. But what you can do instead, you can take some hair and makeup things with you, and then one morning you can say, right, today is your makeover day. You can put glitter on their cheeks, you can do a posh hairdo, get them all in their very best prince or princess outfit, and that can be something that you do in your hotel room between the two of you, and that can be magical too. So very expensive, nearly free, both magical. It just depends where your priorities are. Tip number 11, I don't know why this popped into my head, but walk through the castle. Because depending how you plan to tour Disneyland Paris, you can kind of like go in a circle from Frontierland, Adventureland, Fantasyland. You can go up the side of the castle, and there's all sorts of different routes to get to places. And people don't walk through the castle. But that's iconic, isn't it? When you're thinking about going to Disneyland Paris and going straight down Main Street towards that castle, that's what you're envisioning. So why not walk through there? Straight down Main Street, straight through the castle. And it gets me every time. And I also like to touch the wall as I go through the entrance. Like, hello, I'm home. Cheesy. I know, cheesy. And my final tip number 12, is when you're home, have a recap. The Disney blues are real, people. You will not feel good when you get home. All that planning and excitement is all of a sudden gone. You've not got another Disney trip to book. Well, that's my tip really, is book another Disney trip. But a way to combat it, have a bit of a family or friend group recap afterwards. Obviously, we do our vlogs and videos, and then we talk about it for hours on end on the podcast as well. So it's quite easy for our family because we always sit down and watch the vlogs together afterwards. But other ways of doing it, if you're a big photo taker, You can put them on a slideshow with music, can't you, on your iPad or on your iPhone, and then you can put that on the television, get all the photos together, get everyone sat down and going, I remember that, look at that. A nice little thing to do if you are doing the video or photo one sometimes is to take a video or a photo that the other members of the group don't know about. Maybe it's you've gone and bought them something secretly, or that you put something in the bag in secret and you do a video to explain it, and then they don't know about it till you get home. That's a fun little nugget to sneak into your recap. All right, I think that's it. Ooh, I've got a sneaky one that I've only just thought of now, and it wasn't on the list, so it doesn't get a number. But that is have mystery visitors come to your hotel room. Again, this one's good for children, but notes snuck under the door from Mickey, or little gifts left next to the door from whoever their favourite character is. Leave something in the hotel room as you go, so when they come back, it's in there. I'm not talking actual character meetings here. I'm saying you do a bit of tooth fairying. It's just another way of making magic. What can I say? Right, I think that's everything. And the thing is, no matter what you do on your Disney holiday, you are going to have a magical time because it's the most magical place on earth. We know this. But these are just a few sprinkles that you can put on top. I hope you've enjoyed that video today. If you do, make sure you do a thumbs up and you subscribe and all that, because it helps us out with the YouTube algorithms. Also, make sure you check out our Sunday podcast show. We record live on YouTube every Sunday, 8:30, and we talk about nothing but Disneyland Paris. Well, sometimes we talk about other things. We're meant to talk about nothing but Disneyland Paris. And if you can't make it on a Sunday, you can find the podcast all week long, YouTube, Apple iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, wherever you listen to podcasts. But for now, I've been Lucy. Bye-bye.